Titanium Tuesday. The beginning of this film, Tyler, is one of the most, I mean, I remember going to the theater and watching this, and it's one of the most memorable opening scenes that I've like still to this day, 23 years later.
How many great films start with a scroll with words at the beginning of it?
Well, all right.
Into
Yeah,
the
all
action.
right. Yeah, all right. You got me on that one. But what I mean is the battle.
Well, what I'm saying is I've never seen a bad movie that starts off that way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the battle was crazy cool.
It was, and it back then, you know, I mean, Ridley Scott obviously is pretty amazing. He's had some flops and stuff too, of course, but one of the things that really stuck with me over all the years watching this again, I probably watched it 15 years ago, but that opening scene, it was just like, I'm in. Yeah. I'm ready.
And how quick does it build up the character of Maximus and the loyalty he has for the people around him?
Yeah.
And because they didn't have a lot of time to build that up before, you know, the twist happened and he goes to be a gladiator.
Yeah, a farmer turned general, you know,
so
cool.
Yeah,
and then it's quite the arc. So we're trying to find our way for Titanium Tuesday. We've sort of done we've tested a lot of different things, and I think we decided we're going to try, at least for a while,
to talk.
Not today. Talk specifically the hero character and the villain character of the film for Titanium Tuesday. But today, we're just going to BS again, you know.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Like we usually do. I've been to the Coliseum.
Yes, you have.
And did I tell you that?
You did, and I listened.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
I'm a caring, you know, partner in this podcast.
Yeah, clearly. It's very surreal to go there, and obviously I don't think they filmed any of this there. I mean, in my notes they didn't. Most of it they did in Malta. Yeah. But I know there's a couple other places too. I think the UK maybe, but it's not in my notes. But the reality of what they went through. I mean, they literally they showed in the tour the public restroom. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just wild.
It's a stadium.
It is a stadium, and it was modern back then.
Right. Because they had parts where you could do pool, like they had water events and stuff there too, where they.
I actually was looking at that, and I made a comment on a Facebook post. Yeah. I don't believe that for a second.
Okay.
Being there in that place, I don't think there was ever a time that could have ever been watertight.
That's fair.
There might have been other coliseums that they could do that in, but not that one.
Okay.
So they had everything. One, I don't believe the way they built the underground structure, because that's real. The what they show in the film is real, and that would have never held up, for one.
That's fair.
And the other is that there's the way they constructed that floor. There's no way it was watertight. No way.
That's true.
So I think that's one of those big fish stories.
Well, you know what they could have done? Was gone to their local Greek Walmart, got one of those inflatables, and it could have worked just fine.
And they probably could have done a few of them.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, sewn them together or something. I mean,
that plastic is pretty, you know, spear-proof, and so it never popped.
Right.
Yeah.
And 2,000 years ago, of course, they would have had those around.
Or, I mean, the pools they're excavating back in that day.
So but I read that, and so I was like, and I made a comment. I'm like, that's fake news. I mean, being there, standing there, looking at it, looking at the structure, what was underneath it, there's just no way. There is no way. Just the weight of what water is alone.
That's true.
Never. So that's a myth.
Yeah. Just
like a Greek god is a myth.
That's right. Roman gods. But it was really cool. They did if we want to start giving them a little taste of what, you know, we could talk about the hero arc and the villain arc. Maximus was really cool to see what his motives were. I mean, all he cared about was being back at home with his wife, his kid on a farm. And I really enjoyed how they did the flashbacks to the wheat fields or visions or whatever it ended up being.
And they did them different throughout the film, but they were all phenomenal.
Yeah. And Commodus is just a prick and a jerk, and you could tell he did not get the love he wanted.
Right.
And that was his motive.
So when I was watching this again, I studied Marcus Aurelius quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't believe most of this to be true at all.
This to me is an entertainment at its
totally
core. Yeah.
right, and I'd have to really look at what is actually correct and what's not correct. But it was very interesting, though. I'm like, no, I don't remember that studying him at all.
Right.
And so but people take that kind of stuff. Marcus Aurelius was real.
Yep.
He was a Caesar.
Yep. All
those things, but it's like that's probably about it.
Well, I mean, they even made that comment of how will people remember me? Will they remember me as a philosopher? Will they remember as a ruler? Or what do they do? And so, I mean, there's films that do that of kind of that fourth wall breaking of the narrative of how are they being perceived in the modern time, because these actors and characters are obviously living in the moment, but we're experiencing them in the present.
Yeah, right.
It's always interesting. And again, I never thought about that until now as we're talking about it, but if you're smart enough and want to think about things, you could think about it.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius did have a real brother and stuff too, so I think I can't remember. I mean, Marcus Aurelius died actually younger than portrayed here, if memory serves. Yeah, I mean, and so his brother, I think, technically would have. But Marcus Aurelius also became. It's weird. So,
did not marry a horse though.
Probably not.
That was Nero.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Which Nero, I believe, built the stadium.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Man, we're just gonna be.
I don't know.
Telling some sort of.
It's probably totally. I'm totally remembering it wrong, but I did tour where Nero's castle was.
That's cool.
And that was very cool. He very, 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 very smart man.
Yeah.
Very, very, very evil man.
Yep.
But extremely smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty intense. Anyway, the character.
Now, we
the
just
movie.
Have a whole other podcast of let's talk about history. And how we
That'd be fun.
It.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fight scenes were phenomenal to watch too. It was cool to see the progression. I mean, again, it's an underdog story at its core because you don't know who the audience doesn't know who Maximus is right away. He's just the Spaniard.
Right. And
then being able to see the audience fall in love with him alongside that kid of like, man, I'm rooting for you, the Spaniard, not really knowing who he is in relation to everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
So there's just so many cool character dynamics in this film and how they play together. It's also a very political film. And so it's just, they did such a good job of blending everything together to make an entertaining film that kept you hooked the whole time.
Do you remember the thumbs up, thumbs down thing?
Yeah.
So an interesting fact. Did I send you that article, or we talked about an article a while ago that people are really it's like giving them the middle finger.
Yeah.
Like thumbs up. Now people are super offended by it. But back in those actual times, the thumbs down was mercy. Yeah. So they actually did it in the film as we would kind of consider it a thumbs up, good to go, mercy. But
or they were just really ahead of the time.
Maybe. Yeah. Mel Gibson turned down the part. Right. Russell Crowe, injuries, Achilles tendon, dislocated his bicep tendons,
is ripping my
cracked
Achilles.
Hip. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's the snap up. Nope.
It's not good.
Hard pass.
Did you actually injure it completely?
No. But I've looked at my Achilles often and how tight it is, and can only imagine if it snaps.
Yeah,
I'd be passing out real quick.
It's not, tendon stuff isn't fun.
Nope. And they wouldn't have had the doctors back then to be able to fix it. That's mainly why Achilles died. Not good medical attention.
Probably. Might have had something to do with the women he was with too.
No, it's all. It's all on the Achilles. There's the reason why it's Achilles heel.
Yeah. So that's all I have.
Yeah, it holds up. Definitely would watch. I mean, I can see this film really going old because they kept it really simple. The fight scenes are always fun to watch, and the story's intriguing.
Yeah, need to do this on the big screen outside sometime.
With the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Got me hooked.
Big speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have a comment, suggestion, or snide remark,
you can hit us up. Yeah,
it's got to be against Tyler, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, to be fair, I got all the nice comments in the last one. So, Hans Zimmer. Yeah, it was Hans Zimmer that did this. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Like I said, attention span of a goldfish. But you can email me all the nice remarks now at legitq@maddysmoviemix.com.
See you next time.
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.
Stop listening to Podcast Topless. We're Shiny Brand products that are so comfortable you'll think you're topless. Check out shinybrandproducts.com.